You are walking home when something hits you so hard your vision whites out completely. Not a car, not a fist, something alive. You hit the ground and it is already moving up your arm, cold and wet, and completely aware of you, the way a hand grips something it has been looking for. Your body does what your body does when something impossible is happening to it. It locks. You open your mouth and nothing comes out. And then, inside your skull, not through your ears, not through anything you have a word for, you hear one word. You will do. That is the greeting. Not hello, not chosen, you will do. Which is either the most insulting thing any being has ever said to you, or the most honest. You find out over the next several months that the answer is both. And here is what that actually means. The Venom symbiote has had 7 documented hosts. Eddie Brock is the famous one. Matt Gargan, the scorpion-turned-monster. Flash Thompson, the soldier who lost his legs and was handed something extraordinary in return. And then a few others the history books do not bother with. Each bonding was deliberate. Each one had weight. The symbiote evaluated, considered, chose. You were not chosen like that. Here is what nobody tells you about symbiotes. They are biological. They have a pulse. They can be injured in ways that have nothing to do with fire or sonic waves. Deep internal damage that compounds the longer they go without a host. When the symbiote separated from its last bond mid-flight above the city, it had minutes, not hours, minutes. And during those minutes, it was doing something that in a human body you would call bleeding out. It hit the ground 3 streets from your apartment. You happened to be the only living thing within range that it could bond with before it ceased to function permanently. You were not special. You were not destined. You were a warm body with a compatible nervous system inside the right 3 blocks at the wrong time on a Wednesday. So now there are 2 of you in one body and one of you absolutely did not consent to this. The symbiote, for the record, did not have time to ask. The first 40 minutes are the worst 40 minutes of your life. Your nervous system has no category for what is happening to it. The symbiote threads through you the way roots thread through soil, finding the channels, learning the architecture of you. And your nerves do what nerves do when something outside any previous experience moves through them. They report it as pain because pain is the only language your body has left. Your vision does something that should not be physically possible. It doubles, then triples, then suddenly collapses into a sharpness so extreme you can read the serial number on the fire hydrant at the end of your block from your apartment floor without moving. Every sound in the city hits you at the same time. Someone on the 3rd floor above you is watching television. The pipes in the walls have a rhythm. A dog 3 blocks east is doing something about a squirrel. And underneath all of it, your own heartbeat, slower now, steadier than it has ever been, because something else has taken a quiet and very serious interest in keeping you alive. You cannot stand up. The whole time you are on that floor, underneath everything your body is going through, there is a weight of attention on you, complete attention. The kind you feel when someone is reading you the way you read something you need to understand fast because there is no time to read it slowly, studying you, cataloging you. By hour 2, the worst has passed. Your senses are still overwhelming, but you are beginning to understand which input to pay attention to. The pain has become something you can breathe through, and the thing in the back of your mind has shifted from something actively reading you to something that has finished reading you and is now simply there, waiting. That is when you feel the first emotion come through the bond. Not words, not language, a transmission of pure feeling, gratitude. You were not expecting that. Here is what the symbiote can do, which means here is what you can do now. The suit adds roughly 600 pounds of force to anything you hit. Your punch does not feel heavier from your side of it. The physics just change on the other side. You can throw a car. You can sprint at 60 miles an hour for about 4 minutes before the symbiote needs to recalibrate, which is longer than any fight you are realistically going to be in. The tendrils extend up to 30 feet and hold your full weight, plus anything you happen to be carrying. Walls do not stop you. Bullets mostly do not stop you, though the symbiote is extremely firm that mostly is not the same word as never, and it will make this point in your shared nervous system with a sharp signal that roughly translates to, we are not testing that. At night, the city becomes a different thing entirely. Like someone rewrote the rules of what light is allowed to do and forgot to tell anyone but you. The symbiote makes clear, in that same channel of impression and intent, that none of this is a gift. These are tools. You are expected to use them. Which brings you to the part that nobody who has ever thought about what it would be like to have powers ever imagines first. The symbiote has opinions, not preferences, opinions. Ancient, specific, loaded opinions developed over decades and multiple hosts and more time in deep space than you can genuinely hold in your head. The first opinion is about the city. The symbiote spent months bonded to Eddie Brock in this city. It learned what this city is, what it produces, who it protects, and who it grinds up quietly and throws away. It knows the gap between what the city looks like from above and what it looks like from the street level at 2 in the morning, and it is not neutral about any of it. You find this out on day 5. You are walking to the train and you pass a narrow street and the symbiote sends that collar grab sensation. Not painful, just unmistakably directional, and you turn and look, and you understand immediately why it wanted you to see what is happening in that street. You deal with it. Afterward, for the first time since the bonding, The presence in the back of your mind settles into something you can only describe as a held breath finally releasing. Good. That was good. You are going to be doing that a lot. And the strange part is that after the third time, you stop resenting the interruption. Month 2, and the bond is something different now. The line between where you end and the symbiote begins has blurred past the point of being a useful distinction. When you move through a crowd and your body adjusts your path around a threat before you consciously see it, you cannot tell anymore whether that instinct is yours or the symbiote's. The answer is probably the same answer as asking where the river ends and the water begins. The symbiote carries its previous hosts the way you carry people who shaped you before you knew you were being shaped. Eddie Brock, who had a rage so enormous it needed somewhere to live and found the symbiote waiting for exactly that. Flash Thompson, who lost his legs and was handed something in return and spent years quietly trying to figure out what he owed the universe for that trade. You feel these people through the bond, the weight of them, and you understand that you are doing the same thing to the symbiote right now, laying down something in it that will still be there after you are gone. You can feel the shape of that happening, slow and continuous, the way two things that spend enough time pressed together eventually carry the outline of each other. There is a version of this that goes wrong, where the merger tips too far in one direction. You are aware of that possibility. The symbiote is aware of it. You are both careful about it. In the specific unspoken way, people are careful about things they understand without needing to name out loud. 3 months in, you walk out of your building on a Thursday and the city is exactly the city it has always been. Same noise, same 8 million people who have no idea what is moving through them. Same problems, same machinery, same Tuesday logic applied to a Thursday morning. But you are not the person who was walking home that Wednesday. And the ancient alien thing that latched onto the only available body within reach on the worst night of its existence, the thing that greeted you with "you will do" because it genuinely did not have time for anything else, has found after decades and multiple hosts and more loneliness than you can fit inside your understanding of that word. Something it did not know it was looking for. Someone who stayed. Not bad for a Wednesday night. If you think Venom choosing you is insane, wait until you find out how superheroes are actually created. If you want the full story, check out this video right here.